Hey. Hi, it is so good to be speaking to a camera again. I hope you have been so lovely this year. I haven't posted in about 3 months, but you'll be very happy to know that I got into my dream graduate program. I've been living life. I've been spending a lot of time with friends reading, but just please know that I've missed uploading on YouTube so much. I just thought, you know what? Let's just do the mid-year freakout tag. Let's jump back into it. I did this tag last year, and I think it's just such a fun way to reflect on how your year has been. In terms of how my reading year has gone in 2025, I've read 63 books. A lot of them have been fantastic, and my reading goal this year is 104, which is like a little bit over 100 because I like to set my reading goal in January for the year for 52, so that I could say I read a book a week. But if I'm on track to exceed that goal, I bump it up to 104, so I could say I could read so I drank way too much caffeine before this, so I can say that I read 2 books per week in 2025. I'm on track for that. I don't anticipate myself reading very much the last quarter of the year simply because I'll be moving, I'll be starting school, I'll be very busy. I guess I'm like front loading my reading. In terms of the first question for the mid-year freakout tag, it is, what is your favorite book of the year so far? And what's crazy is I still stand by the fact that my favorite read of this year is my first one, Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Haworth. This is one of the most queer, like sapphic specifically. This book is just the perfect coming of age, quintessential, confusing queer self-discovery / love story. There's the longing in this book makes me want to gouge my eyes out. I truly just felt so seen through Haworth's writing, and please let me know if you've read it or if you plan on reading it, and please report back because oh my god, I can't wait to reread it. And to no one's surprise, I feel like, ow, I just stabbed myself in the cheek. Everyone has already read this in 2024, but I'm just here to report that the hype is indeed real and this book is fantastic. Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. I have so many annotations. I just remember being so enamored by our main character and how earnestly a human this book is. Really interesting timelines, crazy like dream world. Don't go into this expecting you'll know what's going on immediately, or like it makes some semblance of a very strict timeline, because it doesn't do that, and I kind of liked that quality about it. Ugh. Martyr, so good. Another one of my favorites, just really quickly, is I feel like I don't necessarily go for romance when I'm choosing favorites overall, but I think romance is my comfort genre. It's the genre that I read the most, and I think the most standout romance that I have this year so far is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I got the, like, it's called The Works, I believe. It's like the UK edition. It's got the foiled lettering and this like gorgeous sprayed edge. The main character is a single mom, and he is just like this jaded radio talk show host. He actually hosts a love like show, but he doesn't believe in love anymore, and they kind of strike up this really interesting relationship because her lovely like 12-year-old daughter calls in because she's worried that her mom is lonely. The found family in this, delectable. I loved every single side character. I really appreciated Lucy and Aiden. I loved both of them separately. I fell in love with both of them separately. I loved it. Moving on to the best sequel that I've read in 2025 so far. This is really new to me. I just fever dreamed Red Daydream in a span of maybe 24 hours. I highlighted it and everything, which is crazy. I flew through this book. I reread Icebreaker earlier this year because a group of my friends and I wanted to do it together. We ended up not doing it together, but it was still an interesting time for me. Why is Icebreaker so long? And it did not hit nearly as hard as it did for when I read it in like 2022. It wasn't as good, definitely not. I have so many gripes with that book. Wouldn't necessarily recommend. I don't even, this though, this. So you have to read Icebreaker to fall in love with this character. This man is named Henry. We love him, okay? That's a collective agreement upon all of us. The way that they love each other and they communicated with each other, I miss healthy communication in romance books. Like, let's bring this back. Let's bring this back because the drugs that are inside these pages are concerning. If you have a partner or if you have someone gunning to be your partner, make them read this. I'm actually not kidding. Make this a required reading. This is the standard of good communication now. I also read Left of Forever by Sarah Adler. Like I said, I have been in my romance era this year. Sarah Adler, this was my first read by her, and this is the second of one series. It's a family. Organ spurs, spines, forks, spoons. Spoon's Organ. Savor It is her, like the number one installment. I haven't read this yet, but I picked this up because I got it on NetGalley. 5 stars. I don't even need to tell you anything except that this is second chance romance royalty for me, and that should be about all I need to say because that tier for me is no joke. They are a divorced couple. Okay. They had a baby together when I believe they were like 18, 19, very young. They got married because they got pregnant. Flash forward, they're divorced. Their son is 18 years old and he's going off to college. So their son wants to do this like last hurrah road trip. Like, oh, okay, we're gonna drive our son down to his college to drop him off. We'll be a big family. They are really great at co-parenting. There's no like bad blood necessarily. Their marriage just really wouldn't work out for concerns that they do bring up and flesh out in this book. So I don't want to spoil anything. Oh my God. He's so down bad. He is so down bad. The quotes you can pull from this book are insane. So now I love Sarah Adler. 5 stars. I would love for you to read this. I will get back to you on if I like this. And then I'm excited for the third one to come out. Just really quickly, because I'm obsessed with Sarah Adler now, I just finished yesterday, 2 days ago, Funny Feelings by the same author, also 5 stars. Literally laugh out loud. They're perfect for each other. No notes. Just go into it having just a lovely fun time. He's a single dad. He has a deaf daughter. They run into each other. She knows ASL. It's a perfect, Sarah Adler. The next question is there a new release that you haven't read yet, but you're really excited to? Now, I am not kidding. Right before I hit record on this, I am reading Finders Keepers by Sarah Adler. Thank you, Penguin Random House audio. I love you. This is phenomenal so far. I started this morning. I'm 5 hours into it. Wait, I didn't realize that. I love Sarah Adler. I've been a big fan of her since before her debut came out because I read it, Mrs. Nash's Ashes, on NetGalley. I'm sure you heard me talk about Sarah Adler far too many times on this channel, but this just came out last week, I believe, and I'm loving it. Childhood best friends to estranged, not speaking, to then coming back to their childhood town and having to do this like very silly, not silly, but like they're literally doing a scavenger hunt. I also really need to get to Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This does not need any introduction to the internet. All I know about it is toxicity, lesbians, and vampires. I have a lot of answers for this. One, I really want to read Behooved by M. Stevenson. I'm not gonna lie to you, all I know is that this is like a horse book. My friend and I are buddy reading it together. That's it. It's like an arranged marriage, their wedding night. He somehow turns into a horse. Assassination gone wrong. People think she tried to assassinate him, but she didn't, question mark, possibly. So they have to kind of, oh, hey Figgy, do you wanna say hi? Figgy's been doing great if anyone has been worried about him. The next one I have is A Sharp Endless Need by Marissa Crane. As soon as I saw the synopsis, I knew I was gonna really enjoy this. It's a stunning testament to the big feelings of coming of age, falling in love, and of course, playing sports. That's so up my alley, and also it's sapphic. Sapphic coming of age plus a sports element. Another one that I'm very excited for that I so kindly got sent by Minotaur Books, He's to Die For by Aaron Dunn. I just think this is a like really interesting premise. Brooklyn Nine-Nine meets The Charm Offensive in this sparkling romantic murder mystery. It's murder cute in the first degree when a detective finds himself falling for the lead suspect in a career-making case. And I just really adore the cover design. So thank you, Minotaur, for sending this over. Putnam, Mwah. I literally love Putting On, one of my favorite publishers. God, I've talked about them a lot, but they so kindly sent me this one very recently. The Spirit of Love by Lauren Kate. What if you met your dream man twice? So essentially this woman, she is about to direct a TV show. She just slept with a super hot guy right the night before. This guy named Jude comes to her like TV set. This guy has replaced her as the director of this TV show. And she's like, what the heck? I just slept with you last night. But this guy, this director, has like the spark in his eyes is gone. Like it's the same guy, but it's two different versions of him. Can Sam and Jude be the same man? And if they are, will Fenny's love be enough to put him back together? Something interesting is going on and I'm looking forward to finding out. So that one's gonna be, I can just feel it really good. Look who joined us. Oh. Okay, I have to distract him. I have to distract him or he'll continue to be a menace. The last one I will quickly go over. Need I say anything more except the title alone? Hot Girls with Balls by Benedict Nguyen. Like, I'm sorry, is that not the most iconic title that you've heard in a hot second? A gorgeous cover design as well. All I know about it is about volleyball, one of my favorite sports, and also it's Asian American representation, and also it's trans fiction. It just like checks a lot of boxes of all the books that I'm super interested in, or not even like books that I'm interested in. These are like my life interests balled up into one. The satire, comedy, speculative fiction, super intrigued. And this was also really kindly sent to me by Catapult. When I saw this book, I was like, oh, suddenly it's at the top of my anticipated releases this year. Water break. I also recently, since we saw each other, tragically like dropped my full hydro flask on my pavement driveway. So like, look how much that tips. This is a full water bottle. So that kind of stinks, but moving on to the next question, which is what are your most anticipated releases for the latter half of this year? Besides all those books that I'm super excited about, we have Palaver by Brian Washington, of course, one of my favorite authors of all time. I actually so kindly received an ARC by FSG from NetGalley. I have to read it on my phone because he has these beautiful photographs embedded into the book, but like that doesn't really come off well on Kindle files, I guess, so they gave it to me on my phone, and I hate reading on my phone. I just feel like me and my phone don't have a healthy relationship. So like if I'm reading, I'm either doing audiobook with it away from me, Kindle, or like a physical book. I haven't finished it, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I think the interesting dynamic between like the mother and son is really interesting, along with like the mother and her not estranged family, but family she's not necessarily close to in the present day. Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson, one of my favorite mystery authors. Holly Jackson hasn't really hit as hard as A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Like I've read Five Survive, I've read the Rachel Price's Disappearance, and I thought the Five Survive was okay, and then I didn't really like the Rachel Price Prince book, but I'm really praying that this one will be good. BK Borison is coming out with Good Spirits sometime in the fall that I'm so excited for. Again, I'm not like super into paranormal romances like The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I stand by the fact it's one of like, I hate that book with all my being. I know that that's almost an unpopular opinion, but oh my god. So Ghosts and me don't really get along. However, it's BK Borison and he looks so hot in the cover. So I'm really hoping that it really doesn't for me. And then of course, because I loved Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth so much, she's excitedly coming out with Heap Earth Upon It, a creeping story of sibling rivalry and sapphic obsession, in October. That one is probably number one. I know, crazy. My next question, and I will just like briefly gloss over these, but it is the biggest disappointment of the year so far. Wild and Wrangled by Layla Sage is number 4 of her, what is it? Rebel Blue Ranch. And this is a second chance. Come on, I will try any second chance, truly. It's just something about the yearning and like the weaving different timelines and having so much chemistry and being able to see how people grow over time and like be able to like become better people both separately and together. Like there's so much to love about second chance romance. But this one, there's nothing. It was so frustrating getting to like see how lovey-dovey they were because they met in high school. There's nothing wrong with him, actually. This man's named Dusty. That's the one problem I have with him. His name is Dusty. I'll say it, he did like no wrong, like zero wrong. It was like typical book boyfriend, right? She couldn't communicate for the life of her. She made so many assumptions against him, against his character, even though she supposedly has like loved him forever, right? What? Like unfortunately the third act really fell apart, and that made me really disappointed in it because I was so looking forward to their love story, but it just didn't hit. Another disappointment was Ordinary Love by Marie Rudkowski. The audiobook narrators were really good. However, the story itself was like so disappointing. It hurt. That's so painful to say because it is bisexual representation. Our female main character is bi. She has this very abusive, tumultuous relationship with this man. I think his name is Ryan. We hate Ryan. You'll hate Ryan too. Like, that's not a spoiler. But then she has this past love who we adore, the sapphic relationship, but I really do feel like the sapphic relationship fell to the wayside for the author to just continuously, almost repeatedly, bring up the same issues with our male love interest. And do you want to sit with me? Are we friends again? He's purring. Don't be mad at me. There could have been so much more done with not only the sapphic romance, but how co-parenting was handled, for example. Our female main character could have done so much more or had so much more depth instead of letting other people make decisions for her. It wasn't a 2-star. It for sure wasn't 2, but it definitely wasn't good, which is so heartbreaking because I love when I see bisexual representation, and so I have very complicated feelings against that book. But on a lighter note, the next question is, what is your biggest surprise so far? And it is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. Oh my god, this book is fantastic. Cozy fantasy. I feel like it's a very popular series. I usually just keep to my contemporary fiction lane. So for me to really absolutely adore this book, I just didn't expect it to be so funny. Just know that the audiobook is fantastic. I don't think I would have picked it up without the audiobook, and I started Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands, the second of the series, on audiobook just because I loved this one so much. This is probably like the closest I've ever felt to giving a book a 4.5 stars because I can't put the effort into doing half stars, but this was a 4, almost a 5. I was so pleasantly surprised. It was so good and so funny. I can't stress that enough. I only have 3 questions left. The next one is a book that made you cry, and I have 3 that have made me cry so far. You're gonna be able to guess one. So I'll just really quickly go over that I really, I cried 6 times during my third reread, or I guess my second reread of Happy Place by Emily Henry. I talked about it in one of my other wrap-ups, so I won't go into too much detail, but top 3 favorite books of all time. And I finally felt mentally strong enough to read Know My Name by Chanel Miller. And I won't, talk about it too much because I don't want to, talk about any super triggering things for anyone who's watching, but I sobbed multiple times for this book. It took me quite a while to get through. One, because it's longer than I would expect. The margins are like much smaller than a lot of books. And then on top of that, it's just like overall a larger physical copy of a book, so there's just a lot more words than like you'd think in a small, like I thought this was a short book. It's very long, it's very heavy, it's gorgeous. Chanel Miller, her case and just her story have such a deeply personal meaning to me. I actually performed her victim statement in high school, and I cried every single time I did it. Her name wasn't released to the public when I was in high school. Long story short, when I first got back into reading after college, this was one of the first books that I bought like new, and I finally, at the ripe age of 25, now I'm 26, but I felt like I was in a good place to read it, and I'm so glad that I did. Her writing is beautiful, and like I learned so much more about her emotions and how being open to the public like really healed something inside her, and I thought that was just so lovely to hear about. And she actually just came out with like a middle grade book, and I really want to get to that one because it's like Magnolia Wu and something about lost socks because her parents own a laundromat. I'm so happy to see Chanel Miller happy, and like it was just such a beautiful time. So I couldn't recommend this enough, but also I wouldn't recommend this to anyone who finds like sexual assault very triggering. It took me like literal years basically to read this book. So I would know, but it was well worth it. It was beautiful. The last book that made me cry, sob actually, was Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This just came out in the beginning of June. Happy Pride Month to us, babe. I did not expect to actually bawl my eyes out at the end of this book. I went into this with like basically no expectations. I just know that I absolutely adore Taylor Jenkins Reid. She actually like so wonderfully, I'm so happy for her. She came out as bi earlier this year, right before this released. And this is like a sapphic love story about two astronauts. And the documentary about Sally Ride, like the first astronaut from America to fly into space, didn't that documentary about her being a lesbian like just come out? I don't know. I need to really watch that. It was just like perfect timing. Everything involved in this book was beautiful. So much fascination about like the meaning of life and like how astronauts, you have to really have a certain oomph in you to want to go up to the moon. You know what I mean? Like I have no interest diving to the bottom of the ocean or going up into the stratosphere. It had such lovely side characters. Everyone was like really fleshed out. Taylor Jenkins Reid never misses, okay? Like never. If you've read it, I would love to know your thoughts. I literally sent a photo of me, or like a video of me hysterically sobbing to my friends to try and convince them to read this book. And it worked. And another one of my friends read it and she also bawled her eyes out. So it was fantastic. 5 stars. One of my favorite reads of the year, but I just didn't want to put it in like the favorites because I was going to talk about it, you know, here. So, but definitely one of my favorites. 2 more questions left. A book that made me happy was Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage, which is like a shock to everyone, including myself, because I did not give a shit about cowboys literally until maybe 2 months ago. One of my good friends had been in her cowboy era, and I don't even remember what convinced me to pick it up. She just loves this book so much, and I was like really in a slump, I think. So I just decided to pick this up. I had a visceral reaction, like look how many tabs. I started with the audiobook and then I went out and I purchased a physical copy because I needed to start from the beginning and annotate everything. I have so many annotations. I just didn't expect to absolutely adore both of them so much. I found Ada and Wes, like I didn't even have to look at the back. I remember their names of the main characters. Like that's how serious this is. I adored them as people. They were so relatable. Different aspects of each character were so relatable, and then like how they loved one another was just so endearing. I love Wes. The very end of the book reminded me of like my girlfriend, so like of course I'm gonna love that. The audiobook is really good. It's by Teddy Hamilton, and then me and that same friend who got me into reading this book, we went to a Ripped Bodice event and I got to meet Teddy Hamilton, the audiobook narrator. He does a lot of like spicy books. I'm so fond of this book because of how like fun it was to talk to my friends about it. It really did get me into my cowboy era, so now I'm a huge fan. That I guess also surprised me because like what the heck, I did not think I would like cowboys. And finally, we are here. The last question is, what books do you want to read by the end of the year? The first one is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I don't think she needs an introduction. This book is super popular in book talk. I'm gonna buddy read it with one of my friends this year, so we're gonna get to it. I heard that the magic system is pretty interesting, so I'll let you know how I like this. Last but not least, I have Mary Oliver's Devotions. I picked this up on a trip to San Francisco when I was visiting some of my best friends. I have yet to post that vlog. I've yet to edit that vlog, but I did pick this up for like 3 buckaroonies. There's no rush, you know what I mean? Like especially with poetry, you really have to take it in spurts. And so this is a used copy, and what I love about it is some pages are like already dog-eared, so I kind of get to see how the previous person's experience was reading this book. It will probably take me all year, and that's not really a problem for me. I'm gonna definitely take my time, soak up the wisdom and like the loveliness that is Mary Oliver. And now that I've talked your ear off, please let me know what your favorite reads have been in 2025. Thank you for sticking around if you have been. I know I took a quite a long hiatus. I hope to be back much sooner than 3 months. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. I'll see you when I see you. Bye.